Cape Town. It's a city that sits on the very tip of a continent, staring out at the vastness of the Atlantic Ocean. A place where the raw power of nature meets the vibrant pulse of a modern metropolis. There's an energy there, a rhythm that's unlike anywhere else. Maybe it's the dramatic backdrop of Table Mountain, its flat top often shrouded in a tablecloth of clouds, or perhaps it's the colourful houses of Bo Cap, a testament to the city's rich and sometimes tumultuous history. Whatever it is, Cape Town gets under your skin. It stays with you long after you've left. So come with me and let's explore the wonders of Cape Town together. Cape Town is waiting. One of the first things that strikes you about Cape Town is its sheer natural beauty. It's a city where mountains rise up from the ocean, creating a dramatic and unforgettable landscape. Table Mountain is, of course, the star of the show. But Cape Town's beauty goes beyond just one mountain. The coastline is just as breathtaking, with pristine beaches lapped by the waters of the Atlantic and hidden coves waiting to be explored. Just when you think you've seen it all, you turn a corner and discover a hidden beach, a lush forest, or a view that takes your breath away. It's this constant interplay between the urban and the natural that makes Cape Town so unique and captivating. But Cape Town is more than just a pretty face. It's a city with a soul, a history, and a culture that runs deep. Centuries of history have left their mark on Cape Town, shaping its identity and creating a vibrant tapestry of cultures. From the indigenous Khoisan people to the European settlers, Cape Town has always been a melting pot. This rich history is visible everywhere you look, from the architecture of the buildings to the languages spoken on the streets. This blend of cultures is what makes Cape Town so unique. It's a place where different traditions and perspectives come together, creating a dynamic and ever-evolving society. At the heart of Cape Town's spirit is the concept of Ubuntu, a Nguni Bantu term that roughly translates to humanity towards others. It's the idea that we are all connected, that our humanity is intertwined, and that we have a responsibility to care for one another. This spirit of Ubuntu is palpable in Cape Town. Despite the challenges that South Africa has faced, there's a resilience, a hopefulness in the people of Cape Town that is truly inspiring. This spirit of unity, of shared purpose, is what gives me hope for the future of Cape Town and for South Africa as a whole. And that's a powerful message, not just for Cape Town, but for the world. Cape Town's story is a long and winding one, filled with moments of great triumph and terrible tragedy. It's a story that's etched into the very fabric of the city, visible in its landmarks, its people, and its spirit. To truly understand Cape Town, you have to understand its history. Long before the first European ships arrived, the indigenous Khoisan people called this land home. They were the first to fish in its waters, the first to hunt in its forests, the first to tell stories under its star-filled skies. Their presence is still felt in Cape Town, in the names of its mountains and rivers, in the echoes of their ancient traditions. Then in 1488, a Portuguese explorer named Bartolomeu Dias sailed around the Cape of Good Hope, opening up a new sea route to the east. This event would change the course of history, not just for Cape Town, but for the world. The arrival of the Europeans brought about dramatic changes to the region. It brought new cultures, new languages, and new ways of life. In 1652, a Dutch merchant named Jan van Riebeeck established a refreshment station at the Cape of Good Hope for the Dutch East India Company. This marked the birth of Cape Town. What began as a small outpost soon grew into a bustling port city. The Dutch East India Company saw the strategic importance of the Cape. Under Dutch rule, Cape Town flourished. New buildings were erected, farms were established, and the city's population grew rapidly. But this prosperity came at a cost, marked by the displacement of indigenous people and the enslavement of people from Africa and Asia. Over the next century and a half, Cape Town changed hands several times between the Dutch and the British, reflecting the shifting power dynamics of Europe. both empires recognized the strategic importance of the Cape as a gateway between the East and West. Control of the Cape Sea route meant control of trade, and control of trade meant wealth and power. The constant tug-of-war between these two colonial powers left an indelible mark on Cape Town's identity. The discovery of diamonds and gold in other parts of South Africa in the late 19th century had a profound impact on Cape Town. However, this period also saw the rise of segregationist policies that would culminate in the apartheid regime. Through all of this, Table Mountain stood tall, a silent witness to the unfolding drama below. It has seen it all: the arrival of the first Europeans, the rise and fall of empires, the struggles for freedom and equality. Standing on top of Table Mountain, gazing out at the city spread out below, it's impossible not to feel a sense of awe and wonder. You can almost feel the weight of history pressing down on you, the echoes of the past whispering in the wind. But Table Mountain is more than just a symbol. It's a living, breathing part of Cape Town's ecosystem, home to a diverse range of plant and animal life. And it's a constant reminder of the importance of preserving the natural beauty that makes Cape Town so special. The 20th century was a turbulent time for South Africa, and Cape Town was at the heart of the struggle against apartheid. This brutal system of racial segregation and discrimination cast a long shadow over the country. Cape Town became a center of resistance, with many of the anti-apartheid movement's leaders and activists operating from within its borders. The scars of apartheid are still visible in Cape Town today. But despite the challenges, Cape Town has emerged from this dark period with a renewed sense of hope and a commitment to building a more just and equitable society for all. With the end of apartheid in 1994 and the election of Nelson Mandela as South Africa's first black president, a new chapter began for Cape Town. The city embraced its newfound freedom with open arms, transforming itself into a symbol of democracy and reconciliation. Today, Cape Town is a vibrant, multicultural metropolis, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of hope. But the journey is far from over. Cape Town still faces many challenges, from poverty and inequality to crime and environmental degradation. However, the spirit of Ubuntu continues to guide the city's path. Now, when you walk the streets of Cape Town, you feel this energy, this rhythm that's all its own. It's a city that moves to the beat of its own drum, a place where life is lived outdoors and where the line between work and play is beautifully blurred. One thing I love about Cape Town is that it never takes itself too seriously. There's a laid-back vibe, a sense of humor that permeates everything. People are friendly, welcoming, always up for a chat and always ready to share a laugh. Life in Cape Town is about savoring the moment, appreciating the simple things and connecting with the people around you. It's a city that knows how to slow down and enjoy the ride, even when things get tough. This blend of cultures is most evident in Cape Town's food scene. Cape Town is a foodie's paradise. It's a city where culinary traditions from around the world collide and fuse, creating an explosion of flavor that will tantalize your taste buds. From street food to fine dining, Cape Town has something to offer everyone. 1 minute, you can be enjoying a Gatsby, a legendary Cape Town sandwich, and the next you can be savoring a plate of freshly caught seafood at a waterfront restaurant. And don't even get me started on the Cape Malay cuisine. The fragrant curries, the spicy samosas, the sweet and savory boboties, it's a culinary adventure in every bite. Food is a way of life in Cape Town, a way of bringing people together, a way of sharing stories and traditions. They say that music is a universal language, and I truly believe that. But in Cape Town, the music doesn't just speak. It sings, it dances, it tells stories. Walking through the city, you're constantly surrounded by music, from the buskers on the street corners to the live bands in the bars and clubs. Each sound tells a story, reflects a history, and embodies a culture. You can hear the soulful rhythms of traditional African music, the upbeat tempo of kwaito, and the smooth sounds of jazz. So, the next time you're in Cape Town, take a moment to listen to the music. Let it wash over you, let it move you, and let it tell you its stories. But to really understand Cape Town, you have to go beyond the tourist attractions and venture into its townships. These vibrant communities, often overlooked by visitors, are the heart and soul of the city. They are places where the spirit of Ubuntu is most palpable, where people live, work, and create together, despite facing immense challenges. Walking through a township like Langa or Gugulathu, you're struck by the sense of community, the resilience, and the entrepreneurial spirit of the people. You'll see small businesses thriving, children playing in the streets, and artists creating works of beauty and meaning. These are places where life is lived to the fullest, where every day is a celebration of survival and a testament to the human spirit. Visiting a township is a humbling experience, a reminder of the privileges so many of us take for granted. It's a chance to connect with people on a human level, to hear their stories and to learn from their experiences. It's an opportunity to challenge your own perspectives and to gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of South African society. And despite the hardships they face, the people of the townships are some of the warmest and most welcoming you'll ever meet. They understand the true meaning of Ubuntu, the belief that we are all interconnected and that we have a responsibility to care for one another. They'll invite you into their homes, share their food with you, and tell you their stories with a candor and openness that is both refreshing and inspiring. In these communities, you'll find the true heart of Cape Town beating with a rhythm that is both ancient and modern, a rhythm that speaks of resilience, hope, and the enduring power of the human spirit. It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, joy can be found in the simplest of things, like a shared meal, a song, or a moment of connection with another human being. And that, I think, is the greatest lesson that Cape Town has to offer. Now, let's talk about the things you just can't miss when you visit Cape Town. These aren't just tourist spots, they're landmarks. They're places where history and nature collide, where stories are told and memories are made. First up, you've got Table Mountain. I mean, come on, it's right there in the name. This iconic flat-topped mountain dominates the skyline and beckons you to explore its heights. Whether you hike to the top or take the cable car, the views from up there are just breathtaking. You see the whole city sprawled out before you, the ocean stretching out to the horizon, and on a clear day, you can even see Robben Island in the distance. Then there's Robben Island, a place that sends chills down your spine for a different reason. This island, just a short ferry ride from the mainland, was once a prison where Nelson Mandela and many other political prisoners were held captive during apartheid. Visiting Robben Island is a deeply moving experience. You walk through the prison cells, hear the stories of the prisoners who were incarcerated there, and gain a profound understanding of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of oppression. It's a stark reminder of the injustices of the past and a powerful testament to the triumph of hope over adversity. Now, let's talk about Table Mountain. Hiking to the top is an experience I recommend to anyone visiting Cape Town. It's not for the faint of heart, mind you. There are some steep climbs and it can get pretty windy up there, but trust me, the views from the summit make it all worthwhile. As you ascend, you're surrounded by this incredible diversity of plant life. The Cape Floral Kingdom is one of the most biodiverse regions in the world, and Table Mountain is like its crown jewel. You'll see these vibrant wildflowers, these strange and wonderful proteas, and these ancient ferns that have been growing there for centuries. But the best part is reaching the top. You feel this sense of accomplishment, of being on top of the world, literally. And the views are just wow! You see the whole city spread out beneath you, the ocean stretching as far as the eye can see, and if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of whales breaching in the distance. It's a truly unforgettable experience, and if hiking isn't your thing, no worries. You can always take the cable car. It's a pretty spectacular ride in itself, rotating 360 degrees as it ascends, giving you these panoramic views of the city and the coastline. Now, Robben Island is a whole different kind of experience. It's a somber reminder of the dark days of apartheid, but it's also a place of incredible inspiration. I mean, can you imagine being imprisoned on that island for years, for fighting for your freedom, for fighting for equality? It's hard to even fathom. But the thing about Robben Island is that it's not just about the past. It's about the future, too. It's about learning from the mistakes of history and building a better world for future generations. Walking through those prison cells, you can almost feel the spirits of Mandela and the other prisoners who were held there. You can feel their determination, their resilience, their unwavering belief in the power of hope. And it's contagious. You leave Robben Island feeling inspired, empowered, and more determined than ever to fight for what's right, to stand up for justice, and to make a difference in the world. It's an experience that stays with you long after you've left its shores. Now, for a complete change of pace, you have to visit Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens. This place is like a green oasis in the middle of the city. It's nestled on the slopes of Table Mountain, and it's home to this incredible array of indigenous plants and flowers. You walk through these lush gardens, surrounded by the sounds of bird song and the scent of fynbos in the air. And you feel all your stress just melt away. They have these amazing walking trails that wind through the gardens, taking you past waterfalls, streams, and these incredible sculptures that blend seamlessly with the natural surroundings. And the best part is that you can pack a picnic basket and find a shady spot under the trees to just relax and soak it all in. Kirstenbosch is a reminder that even in the midst of a bustling city, nature can still thrive. It's a place of peace, tranquility, and beauty, and it's a testament to the power of conservation and the importance of protecting our natural heritage. But these landmarks are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Cape Town. The city is full of hidden gems waiting to be discovered. One day you might stumble upon a local market bursting with colourful crafts and fresh produce. The next, you might find yourself wandering through a historic neighbourhood, admiring the architecture and soaking up the atmosphere. And then there are the beaches. Cape Town is blessed with some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, from the long stretches of white sand at Camps Bay and Clifton to the secluded coves of Llandudno and Boulders Beach, where you can swim with penguins. Cape Town is a sensory overload in the best possible way. It's a city that awakens your senses and leaves you feeling fully alive. So come with an open heart, an adventurous spirit, and be ready to be amazed. You know, every time I go back to Cape Town, it's like opening a treasure chest of memories. Each corner I turn, each smell that hits me, each laugh that echoes down the street, it all sparks a story. And trust me, after years of traveling the world and meeting people from all walks of life, I've got a story or two to tell. One memory that always brings a smile to my face is from my first time visiting Cape Town after moving to the States. I was just a kid back then, fresh off the plane, and completely overwhelmed by the sights, sounds, and smells of the city. Remember that feeling of being somewhere completely new, completely foreign, but in a good way? That's how I felt. Anyway, I was wandering through the city centre trying to get my bearings when I stumbled upon this group of kids playing street soccer. They were about my age, maybe a little older, and they were just going at it, full of energy and passion. Now, anyone who knows me knows I can't resist a good game of soccer. It's in my blood. So I kind of just stood there for a bit watching them play, and eventually one of them noticed me. He gave me this big grin and, in a mix of English and Xhosa, which I understood just enough of, invited me to join in. Another time I remember getting hopelessly lost in the colourful streets of Bokap. Now, for those of you who haven't had the pleasure, Bokap is this neighbourhood in Cape Town known for its brightly painted houses, cobbled streets and rich Cape Malay culture. It's a photographer's dream, let me tell you. I was there with some friends and we were on this mission to find the best samosas in the neighbourhood. Everyone had their own opinion, of course, and we ended up going from one tiny little bakery to another, sampling these incredible, spicy, flavorful samosas, each one better than the last. But it wasn't just about the food, you know. It was about the experience. It was about getting lost in the labyrinthine streets, soaking up the vibrant atmosphere and chatting with the locals. We met this one old man who ran a spice shop, and he told us all about the history of the neighborhood, the different spices used in Cape Malay cooking, and the sense of community that makes Bokap so special. By the end of the day, we were stuffed with samosas, our senses were in overdrive, and we were completely turned around. But we were laughing, we were happy. And that's the thing about Cape Town, you know, it has this way of making you feel alive, present, and grateful for every single moment.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Of course, not all my Cape Town stories are filled with sunshine and samosas. There was this one time I was trying to order food at a restaurant and I completely butchered the pronunciation of this dish. I mean, I really messed it up. The waiter looked at me, this mix of confusion and amusement on his face, and then he just burst out laughing. And you know what? I started laughing too, because in that moment, I realized that language barriers don't have to be barriers at all. They can actually be bridges, connecting us through shared laughter and a willingness to embrace the absurdity of it all. We eventually figured out what I was trying to order, and the food was amazing, by the way, but it was that shared moment of laughter, that connection forged over a linguistic mishap that stayed with me. It reminded me that even when we stumble over our words, even when we make complete fools of ourselves, there's always room for connection, for understanding, and for a good laugh. I've had countless other small but significant encounters in Cape Town, the kind that remind you of the goodness in people. Like the time my car broke down on the side of the road and this group of guys pushing a food cart stopped to help me push it to safety, or the time I forgot my wallet at a cafe and the barista chased me down the street to return it. These acts of kindness, big or small, they might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but they're the threads that weave together the fabric of a community. They're the reminders that even in a city as big and bustling as Cape Town, people still look out for each other. And it's not just about the grand gestures, you know? It's about the everyday interactions, the smiles exchanged between strangers, the willingness to help someone with directions, the simple act of holding a door open for the person behind you. These small acts of kindness, they might seem insignificant on their own, but together they create a ripple effect, a wave of goodwill that washes over the entire city. But let me circle back to that first story about the kids playing soccer. So there I was, this awkward kid from somewhere else, and they welcomed me into their game without hesitation. We played for what felt like hours, laughing, shouting, and completely forgetting about everything else. And in those moments on that dusty field, surrounded by the energy and enthusiasm of those kids, I truly understood the meaning of Ubuntu. It wasn't something that was taught in a classroom or preached from a pulpit. It was something that was lived, breathed, and shared on that soccer field. We didn't speak the same language fluently, we came from different backgrounds, but none of that mattered. We were connected by something deeper, something more fundamental, our shared humanity. We were all just kids, after all, united by our love for the beautiful game. And that, to me, is the essence of Cape Town, a place where differences fade away, where connections are forged, and where the human spirit shines through. Now, I've painted a pretty rosy picture of Cape Town so far, haven't I? And don't get me wrong, I love that city with all my heart. But even in a place as vibrant and beautiful as Cape Town, there are shadows. There are challenges, struggles, and injustices that can't be ignored. You see, behind this stunning scenery and the infectious energy, there's another Cape Town. A Cape Town marked by the legacy of apartheid, by poverty, by inequality, and by the ever-present threat of violence. It's a side of the city that tourists often don't see, but it's a reality for millions of its residents. As you drive from the airport into the city centre, you might notice these sprawling settlements on the outskirts, these makeshift homes cobbled together from corrugated iron and whatever materials people can find. These are the townships, home to generations of South Africans who were forcibly removed from their homes during apartheid and relegated to the margins of society. And while the end of apartheid brought about a new era of hope and democracy for South Africa, the scars of that brutal system run deep. The economic disparities, the lack of access to basic services, the systemic racism that still permeates society, these are the challenges that continue to plague Cape Town today. One of the most striking things about Cape Town is the stark contrast between rich and poor. You can be walking down a street lined with luxury boutiques and cafes, and just around the corner you'll find yourself in a neighborhood where people are struggling to put food on the table. It's a constant reminder of the deep-seated inequalities that exist in South African society, inequalities that were entrenched during apartheid and have proven difficult to dismantle. The legacy of apartheid is like a shadow that hangs over Cape Town, a constant reminder of the work that still needs to be done to create a more just and equitable society for all. You see it in the education system, where schools in affluent areas are vastly better resourced than those in townships. You see it in the healthcare system, where access to quality healthcare is often determined by your ability to pay. And you see it in the job market, where opportunities for advancement are often limited by race and class. This inequality breeds frustration, resentment, and a sense of hopelessness, particularly among young people who feel left behind by the promises of a democratic South Africa. It's a powder keg that threatens to ignite at any moment, a stark reminder that the fight for equality is far from over. And as if the social and economic challenges weren't enough, Cape Town has also had to grapple with a severe water crisis in recent years. In 2018, the city came perilously close to what was dubbed Day Zero, the day the taps would run dry. A combination of factors, including a prolonged drought, poor infrastructure, and a lack of long-term planning, led to this unprecedented crisis. I remember following the news closely from the States, my heart breaking for the people of Cape Town as they faced the prospect of life without this basic necessity. The images of people lining up for hours to collect water from communal taps, the stories of families rationing their water usage down to the last drop. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of our existence and the importance of responsible resource management. Thankfully, through a combination of strict water restrictions, public awareness campaigns, and innovative solutions, Cape Town managed to avert Day Zero. But the crisis served as a wake-up call, a reminder that climate change is real, that it's happening now, and that it has the potential to exacerbate existing inequalities. It also highlighted the importance of investing in sustainable solutions, improving infrastructure, and addressing the underlying social and economic factors that make some communities more vulnerable to these kinds of crises than others. But even in the face of these challenges, even amidst the shadows, there's a sense of hope in Cape Town. There's a spirit of resilience, a determination to overcome adversity, and a belief that a better future is possible. You see it in the activists who are working tirelessly to address social and environmental issues, in the entrepreneurs who are creating jobs and opportunities in underprivileged communities, and in the everyday people who are working to build bridges across the divides that still exist in South African society. There's a recognition that the journey to a more just and equitable society is a long and arduous one, but there's also a refusal to give up. There's a belief that by working together, by embracing the spirit of Ubuntu, Cape Town can overcome its challenges and emerge as a beacon of hope, not just for South Africa but for the world. And that's why I keep going back to Cape Town. It's a city that challenges me, inspires me, and reminds me that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit has the power to shine through. It's a city that reminds me that the fight for a better world is a fight worth fighting, and that even small acts of kindness and compassion can make a difference. So, there you have it, my Cape Town. A city of contrasts, of contradictions, of complexities, a place where breathtaking beauty exists alongside heartbreaking poverty, where the echoes of a painful past mingle with the hopes of a brighter future. It's a city that will challenge your assumptions, push your boundaries, and leave you forever changed. Cape Town is not a place you simply visit and forget. It's a place that gets under your skin, that stays with you long after you've left its shores. It's the warmth of the people, the rhythm of the streets, the stories whispered on the wind, the resilience etched into the very landscape. If you ever get the chance to go to Cape Town, take it. Go get lost in its vibrant streets, hike to the top of its iconic mountain, and listen to the stories its people share. Open your heart to its complexities, its beauty, and its unwavering spirit, and trust me, you'll understand why. For many of us, Cape Town isn't just a city on the tip of Africa. It's a feeling, it's a state of mind, it's a reminder that even in a world that often feels dark and divided, there's always hope, there's always beauty, and there's always Ubuntu.